Hi, welcome to my channel. In this lecture, I'm going to share how to create a transparent wall. When player character is approaching to this transparent wall, it shows up so that player will know the boundary is here. We will utilize distance field function, which is a convenient feature in Unreal Engine. Before we get into the video, I want to briefly tell you about my new released courses on Udemy. If you want to create a 2D top-down vampire-like game in Unreal Engine 5, this course is for you. In this course, you will learn pooling system to handle large number of actors, random skills, shop system with save and load framework. We will create entire leveling up system with pickable items, 2 unique bosses and 20 more mobs during the gameplay. Moreover, if you want to learn action game on mobile device, check my action game tutorial course. Your own Sekiro-like basic combat mechanism from scratch by using Unreal Engine 5. Since players' mobile specifications are quite different, mobile game developers do need to optimize lots of assets and logics, including lighting, mesh polygons, textures, tick events, etc. You can play demo right now on Googleplay without ads. The link will be in the description below. Or you can head over to my Discord to check latest coupon for the courses. Create a new third-person template. We will use 2 textures in starter content. So add starter content. Next, make sure distance field is enabled. Open project settings. In the search bar, type distance field. Let's find this option. Generate mesh distance fields. Great. This option is enabled at default. If you haven't heard distance field before, we will browse this document in Unreal Engine website. I will attach this link in the video description. Find mesh distance fields. There are a lot of contents in this document. We will take advantage of this sentence. We will take advantage of this feature. It works by sorting the distance to the nearest surface in a volume texture. When player character is approaching to the transparent wall, the texture will appear according to the distance between player character and wall itself. In this case, we are going to use a sphere static mesh to represent this nearest surface, not skeletal mesh, because there are some limitations in this function. Let's scroll down to the bottom of this document. One of the limitations is only supports static mesh, instances static mesh, foliage, and landscape. Actually, not only foliage must be enabled with effect distance field lighting, but also static mesh itself needs to enable this function. Back to the project. Drag a cube into the level. It represents the wall. OK. Next, create a new material. Name it to m_distance field wall. Open it. We need to tweak some settings. Change its blend mode from opaque to translucent. In terms of opacity pin, we'd like the wall appearing in some noise pattern, so call texture sample node. In the details panel, search noise, choose offset noise distance texture. Duplicate it. In the starter content, we will attach the wall texture. This wall texture is in the starter content asset pack, so search wood. I choose this texture. Connect it with emissive color pin. Next step, call the important function distance to nearest surface. In the document, this function only works by sorting the distance to the nearest surface in the volume texture. So we need to compare current player character position with this wall position. In this material shader, we will convert this distance to a percentage value. Let's call a constant node. Convert it to a parameter. Name it to take effect radius. When the wall is within this radius, the wall texture will show up according to this percentage value. I set up default value as 60. So how can we convert this distance to a percentage value? Take effect radius subtract distance from nearest surface. This subtracted result divide with take effect radius again. Then we get the desired result. Hook them up. Make some comments. Get a result in percent, since wall appears according to this value. However, the wall will disappear when opacity is under 0. And when the opacity is over 1, it doesn't make much sense to increase this value anymore. So we'd better to limitate this value within 0 to 1. In other words, only value in this range makes sense to this material. Call if node. Make the comment. The material will show up only between 0 and 1 in opacity. Create two constants. One is 0, another one is 1. Hook them up separately. When A is greater than B, the value should be 0, which means player character is still far from wall. Connect calculated results from divide value with B pin. And last, change their positions. Connect this RGB channel with A pin. OK, it is the most important part. Connect return value with opacity pin. Great. Don't forget to click Apply and Save. Let's specify this material to this cube. However, the bottom part of the texture is showing up already. We don't want this effect. It is because this part is affected by ground itself. Click the ground static mesh. Search Effect field. Uncheck this Effect distance field lighting. OK, they all disappear. Next, we need to add a sphere static mesh for player character to represent this source. Open BP third-person character. Add a sphere component. Tweak its scale size. I change it to 1.3. We don't need its collision, so set its collision presets to no collision. Compile and save. Next, create a basic material to make this sphere static mesh transparent. Create a new material, rename it to m_transparent. Open it. Change its blend mode to masked. Add a constant. Connect it with opacity mask. OK, it becomes transparent now. Apply and save. Back to third-person blueprint. Specify this material to sphere static mesh. Good, let's try it out. When player character is approaching to this wall, the wall texture is showing up. So the player knows here is a boundary. If we uncheck Effect Distance Field Lightening for this sphere static mesh, it is simply a transparent wall. If we specify this distance field wall to other static mesh, it does the same effect. It is very convenient for our game development. I hope this video is helpful to you. See you in the next video.